Hey there guys, this is Reckles with WTBGold, and good news, we got the first round of Battle for Azeroth WoWHead data mining in, so we got some patch notes out. One thing, a big caveat before we get into talking about how we're gonna make gold in the next expansion, none of these are real. Like, everything's a placeholder, none of the names are set in stone, none of the numbers that I throw out are going to be real, and some of the items may not make it to live, but we can get a really good feel of Blizzard's intent with the professions going forward, their mindset behind everything. So let's go, let's talk about making gold. Okay, so just off the bat, I wanted to go over a couple of the things, non-profession related things that made me smile, made me chuckle a little bit. Here is my favorite mount in the new expansion so far. I'm going to be riding this guy around for a little while. Just a happy little frog. Next, we've got this terrifying bug thing. There are lots of really cool models for mounts coming out, so go check them out. We're also getting new horse mounts. Also, we're getting a pet. I don't know how you get it or what, but it's called a demon goat. Yes. There's also this really neat mount. It's probably part of a quest, but if you get to, you turn into this, you don't ride this. So I'm excited for some screenshots on that. Also, fun little things like the electroshock mount motivator. This is an engineering item. Increases mounted movement speed by 10% for 10 seconds, stacks 5 times, but if you use it too much, your mount gets disoriented, and I'm guessing you just stop. Typical engineering thing that, you know, it's got its drawbacks, doesn't work all the time. And then also another interesting one, the portable transmog pad. This is replacing, or it's not replacing the yak, but you can, rather than spending 100,000 gold on a yak, you can just buy these and keep a stack of them in your bags whenever you need to mog something. So this is going to be one of those things you always want to keep up on the auction house if it makes it to live. All right, let's get into professions. Okay, before we go into the specifics of each profession, just the general overview change is that the cap for professions is now 100. Rather than making Battle for Azeroth go from 800 to 900, they're doing this kind of branch approach. Once you get to your cap on your professions, you can choose to learn Battle for Azeroth recipes. You can choose to learn Outland recipes. You can open up Draenor recipes. So that's what we're going for. I like this. Personally, I think it'll have some effect on the old world materials that were used for leveling, but it's such a chore now that this is really nice that you can just level up using only current content stuff rather than going back through infinity hours of crafting old world items. Alright, so let's get into alchemy. Alchemy has all the same things that you'd expect. They haven't changed any of the fundamentals. You've still got healing potions, mana potions, invisibility potions. You've got flasks for main stats, and, you know, everything you'd expect. Even the basic little goody potions like movement speed. This says 150%. That seems really fast. But you know, slow fall, armor potion, all that good stuff. But here's something. This is what, you know, the healer potion. This intrigues me because it's not a secondary stat. It grants the imbibers helpful spells a chance to put a short heal over time buff on their target. They had a lot of problems with secondary stats in Legion and balancing those out as people got more gear. So hopefully this is something we'll see where, you know, actual just results are duplicated. And then we've got this interesting one, Sirus Sphere of Transmutation. Concentrate on the sphere to transmute it into another object for 1 hour. This highlights and allows the player to interact with various cauldrons in Kulturas and Zandalar. I don't know what these cauldrons are, but it's a 1 hour buff that lets you go find things. So this, maybe it's required to transmute. I don't know. All right, let's get into blacksmithing now. As you can see, Cataclysm, Classic, Draenor, all this is going, talking about the branching that I was saying. But the main thing here, I'm just going to leave it on these because you can see at a glance, there's not much here. blacksmithing is still your go-to place for weapons. You have your level up crafts and your max level crafts. So they aren't doing a whole bunch of new crazy things with that. Worth noting is Oko hoof plates is or Ocho, I don't know, but they're sticking with the hoof plates and stirrups thing as crafted, and the new ore, if you were wondering, is called monolite. The only other thing with blacksmithing is the Kazgorian hammer, and this allows the user to repair all their equipment in an instant. Now, I don't know if this is if it's like used up, but it's an epic item, so my guess is this is going to be a really expensive one-time purchase. So if you make a lot of gold at the start of the expansion, then you can buy one of these, and you'll never have to pay for repair bills again. It'll probably be like 100,000 gold, but you know, if you never have to pay repair bills again, then you know it's an investment in your future. Okay, and on to enchanting. They're staying true to ring enchants. So you've got the secondary stats enchants on your rings. You've got the lesser and the greater enchant. So the lesser is called the sigil of whatever, and it uses shadow dust, which is the new dust. And then the greater enchants are called the brands, and these use a crystal, the veiled crystal, and shadow dust. These are, of course, subject to change, but they're one of the few things on the PTR that's actually named. We've also got the gathering glove enchants. So glove enchants are back. Whoop. They use Umbra shards, which is nice that we have the name of the shards. But we've got herbalism, mining, skinning, and the ever popular flies off the surveying glove enchant. I just can't keep those stocked on the auction house. People buy the surveying glove enchant just way too fast. We also have an interesting one with crafting. So if your gloves are enchanted with this, it increases the speed of your crafting items. So now everyone should have glove enchants, and we can say in guides, like, make sure you have the glove enchant. This will speed up your crafting time when you're making 100 of whatever. Next, we've got an interesting glove enchant, Oko Hearthing, or Ocho Hearthing. This increases the speed of your Hearthstone cast, which with the changes to, if you find yourself always like accidentally setting yourself to a PvP server, or you're server hopping around, I don't know exactly how the new PvP system is going to work in practice, but if you find yourself always getting ganked, just put this on your gloves. If you're on a toon that's not very geared, put this on your gloves and you can just bounce. Next, we've got weapon enchants. Weapon enchants are back. I don't see like greater or lesser weapon enchants, which I kind of like, but they are extra procs. So sometimes procs an extra heal, sometimes procs an extra melee attack, sometimes procs an extra ranged attack. And then the interesting one to me, weapon enchant threat reduction. So here, whenever you're forming a Mythic Plus group on Skittish Week, we always, like, you need a hunter or rogue in your group. Now you can just make sure that everyone has the threat reduction weapon enchant equipped on their weapons, and that means the week after Skittish Week, you're going to sell a lot more of your main weapon enchants. So we're going to be moving a lot more weapon enchants in BFA. All right, next we're going to take a look at engineering. You've got all the toys that you'd normally expect. You've got a root, you've got a slow, you've got a stun, you've got a petrify, you've got a polymorph and a sleep, a whole bunch of bombs. Which I like that they're sticking with a theme here. You've got the mount motivator that I talked about earlier to keep you moving. It's a stacking buff for your mount speed that sometimes breaks. You've also got Fried, which is just an AoE item that you can use, and you've got the Thermo Accelerated Plague Spreader, which is another AoE item that you can use. I assume one is Goblin and one is Gnomish. You've got the Goblin Hovercraft, which we can't click on, but that's okay. You've got the XA1000 surface skimmer, which looks like a submarine, but we don't have a 3D model of it just yet. The engineering is also making guns, which I wish this was real. 37,000 stamina and 25,000 agility in an eye level 850. Yes, please. My twink would like that. Thank you very much. Okay, bye. But that's it. There's also the portable transmog pad, which is gonna make yaks a little less necessary, and that's really it. Basic stuff that you'd expect. Hopefully they're gonna keep adding some more. Engineering doesn't have a pet here. I'd just like to point that out. And on to jewel crafting. Scribes have a lot of familiar things, a lot of unfamiliar things. We're getting the return of the tome and the codex for people to change their talents. This is the Tome of the Quiet Mind. We've also got something new called contracts. Now, these are things to... whenever you use a contract with a specific faction, you can increase your reputation with that faction by doing world quests. So, easy way to just grind out reputations, but you have to specify. So it makes it fun and it gives the illusion of choice. Yay! So these require friendly, and we see that there are a bunch of factions out there. We've got House Proudmoore, House Stormsong, House Waycrest, House House Nazmir Expedition. We've got the Tortolan, we've got the Voice of Azeroth, we've got Volpera, and we've got the Zandalari. So 8 factions just to start with right off the bat. So get ready for it. Get ready for some grinding. These are using pigments, normal and rare pigments, along with rare herb. So expect them to be expensive, but we also get confirmation that we are getting the return of pigments. So that's nice. Next, we've got Dark Moon cards coming back. Wouldn't be a World of Warcraft new expansion without scribes just mass casting Dark Moon cards, playing that RNG game that takes so much math to deal with. We've also got the return of Vantis runes, which are for the entire raid and give a 1500 versatility buff. So that's nice. That's nice. Hopefully we stick with the current. I like the current state of Vantis runes. I think it's really nice. We've got, for scribes, they're making the offhands. So you've got the level up version and the max level version. Then we've just got the herbs that you can cast. And this is the only place I found that actually lists what the name of the herbs are. So we're going to mass mill Anchorweed. This is the rare herb for Battle for Azeroth. We've got Riverbud, which is probably going to be a freshwater, like found along rivers and streams, freshwater flower. We've got Star Moss, which is going to be in like the Dark Night zone or whatever. We've got Akunda's Bite. My guess is this is going to be in troll zones. Winter's Kiss, this is probably going to be in a snowy zone or some mountainous range. And Aromatic Pollen, obviously this is going to be in the pretty zone with all the flowers. And then we've got Herb 06-Coast. I have no idea where we're going to find this one. All right, let's move on to jewel crafting. If you're an experienced jewel crafter, not much of this is going to be new. It's pretty basic stuff, but there is one thing that I'm really, really excited about to get y'all's opinions on down in the comments. Also, we have the names of the actual gems and the names of the ore through the mass prospect. So, hopefully these are... Anyway, let's go. For the purple gem, we're... Oh no, I've only read these in my head. Oh, I always mispronounce these. No. All right. Don't make fun of me too much. I'm going to mispronounce all of these, I promise. Purple uncommon gem is Cubeline. The blue uncommon gem is Kyanite. The green uncommon gem is Viridian. The yellow uncommon gem is Golden Barrel. The orange uncommon gem is Soulstone. I see what they did there. Soul, sun, the sun's orange. And then here we go, guys. Here we go. The red uncommon gem is Rubelite, but it gives you a 5% experience boost. So now everyone who was complaining that leveling took so long and oh no, they nerfed heirlooms and all that, well now just put a red gem in your gear and stop complaining. What's the problem? So I'm really excited about this. I think this is great. I think it's not a huge boost, so it's not going to break the game. It's not going to, but it's going to give you more of that illusion of choice, which is so important to having fun in a game like this. That's just so much of a grind and has so much randomness. Now, we've also got Saber Eyes. They're back, but they're called Kraken's Eyes. They're main stat boosts. And here we go. Jewel Crafters also have rings. Nothing new here. They're stamina along with a known secondary stat and an unknown secondary stat, assuming this makes it to live. And then while scribes make offhands, jewel crafters make staves, and these are pretty basic. You have a caster and a healer staff for leveling and max level. Now, here is the ore, and I'm excited about this because there's some we're so early on. This is all probably going to change, but we've got monolite ore, mass prospect monolite. We've got mass prospect storm silver, and then we've got mass prospect beryllium. But it says down here the ore is called Cascium ore. So I think this is just, they changed the name of it recently, and since the name of the actual ore is probably more important to the people managing the database and the naming than the name of mass prospect that ore, this is probably more reliable. The thing I like about this is they all have the word ore in their name. So if you're not using an add-on like Trade Skill Master, if you're using the standard UI, you can just type ore into the search bar of the auction house. On to leatherworking. We've got pretty basic stuff. The only like new thing is we've got the scuba helm that leatherworkers can craft, which I think lets you breathe underwater, and you've got the scuba suit, which lets you swim underwater at X% faster swim speed. So that's really nice. We'll sell some of those, especially if there are underwater farming areas. Now, leatherworkers also are crafting the bows. You've got a leveling bow and you've got a max level bow. Leatherworkers also make fists, and you've got leveling and max level fists. The meat and potatoes, though, is still there, but with maybe a little bit of a change. They make all the armor items for leveling gear. That's, you know, helm, shoulders, wrist, gloves, chest, belt, pants, and boots. But for the max level stuff, we only have boots and pants. And boots and pants and boots and pants and boots and pants. We've also got drums, so you've got your heroism, and you've got the return of Stonehide leather barding, which is really, really nice. If you didn't know, if you're out and about and you're mounted up and something attacks you, it can slow you down, you know, where that's called getting dazed. Tanks don't get dazed, so if you're out gathering herbs or something, you want to be in tank spec, but if your class doesn't have a tank spec, you can just buy this. Hopefully they'll make it a little bit cheaper. It was a little too expensive in Legion. And bringing in the rear, we've got tailoring. We don't know the name of the new cloth type yet, but we do have a new item to talk about. We've got battle flags. So I'm guessing this is some kind of pennant that you're going to wear on your body and you're going to ride around with. They give different perks. So you've got the CC reduction. This is going to be your PvE battle flag. You've got damage reduction, so probably your PvE battle flag. And then you've got mount speed, so this will be your farming battle flag. So that's nice. It's nice, simple, easy to understand. We've also got new bags. So the 30 slot bag, this is going to create kind of a price floor with hexweave and royal panda cloth bag. And then we've got the much more important 32 slot bag. I don't know how much this is going to cost. But I would expect it to be very, very expensive off the bat. Make as many of these as you can, as quickly as you can, because everyone's gonna want one. We didn't have a big bag boom in Legion because we didn't really have any. Everyone already had 30 slot bags who could afford it. Now everyone's going to be upgrading their bag slots, and this is going to sell so much. This is going to be expensive for a long time. Next, we've got cloaks, and this is something kind of new. They've got little perks attached to them. So rather than being like a shoulder enchant or something, it's just attached to the cloaks. Where one cloak is camouflage, one cloak is fall damage reduction, and then one cloak is threat reduction. So these are all the things that you care about when you're questing. So I'm guessing this is going to be like a questing item, and also it's blue. Just do me a favor, if you're ever in a group running dungeons and your tank has the threat reduction cloak, please just kick him. Also, thinking about the leatherworking, we also only have 2 max level crafted items for tailors. They have legs and hands. So just going back to here, tailors have legs and hands. Leatherworkers have legs and boots. And then blacksmiths have legs and waist. Legs and waist. So only 2 max level crafts for armor types, which is good. This is gonna get you, if you want to get geared up off the bat. You can't just craft everything. You have to get out into the world, get some quest rewards, get some dungeon loot. Final thing worth mentioning is their tailors are getting a new pet. It's a hot air balloon. I'm excited about that. I know, I tried. There's no model for it yet, but we'll get there. So that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe, like the video. Big shout out to WoWHead for doing all your data mining work. Appreciate it. I know I was pretty much just reading the patch notes here, but that's all we have right now. So just bear with me. I'll get some actual in-game footage once we get a PTR. But thank you for watching. Subscribe, like the video if it helped you out. Share it with your friends so everyone can know what's coming. And other than that, good luck and happy gold making.